Greetings, dear ones. This is a very atypical hour for us to be meeting or me to be going live. I do apologize. I thought this morning a commitment would be over in time for me to at least meet the 2 o'clock deadline that I set. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. So, those of you who are here or those of you who listen to this later, I hope it benefits you and that it didn't throw your scheduling off too much. So, welcome. It is March 21st. And yes, as usual, there is a lot going on. A lot in the world, a lot in our country, and many are really beginning to feel the effects of some of the radical and drastic changes, the radical and drastic dismantling and destruction of what has been not a perfect but a very functioning governmental system that allowed for many people to benefit and get a chance, get a leg up, be covered where other things were not forthcoming, such as food, children, advanced programs or advancing them in programs, many things, as you well know. And tonight, I really want to bring some deep earth energies that have been showing up and coming into meditations and practices and sessions with clients, as well as some future energetics because they are very, very, very strong. And those of you who have attended any of my events, worked with me one on one, or been listening to my work or reading my work over the years, know that from the perspective of this body of work, everything that appears negative or harmful or destructive is exactly on time and exactly in line with whether it is an individual soul design or, in this case, a collective soul level design, all for the purpose of evolving our species and all of those other non-human beings that are participating in this project, as well as some other non-physical beings that have been participants in this project at one point or another through our history, and or continue to be interfaced and interdependent upon what goes on the physical level or the physical plane, the surface that we live on. And one of the things that came through was this blossoming and unraveling. And I spoke a little bit about, in times past, destruction and construction. But this is a little bit different. And underneath the surface, there is so much blooming, blossoming. Well, maybe not blooming quite as yet, but no, that's not true. There is a lot blooming as well. Some are in the bud stage, some are still in the closed, ready to be open stage, and some are still in a seed stage. Some are in that stage where they are in feeding from and being fed by the soil and all the nutrients in the soil. That sounds very esoteric, but I will say that there have been groups for quite some time that have been working towards a more cooperative, collaborative effort, whether it's in social settings, social policy settings, or whether it is in corporations, different industries, different areas of our lives, whether, we've moved, just for example, in the medical world. Yes, there are still, most people are connected into the allopathic medical system, but there are billions upon billions upon billions of dollars being spent in the holistic world because people are looking for a different alternative, a different way to heal, a different perspective on who they are, a way to include their diet and their daily lifestyle, etc. So this has been a movement for quite some time. We're going to see a great deal more of that. There have been community gardens during COVID. A lot of people made their own vegetable gardens. I think we are already seeing and will see much more of that, where neighbors are sharing, one's growing zucchini, another one's growing tomatoes, and we're exchanging or put it into a community offering, and people exchange. Some of you may be aware of the community sites like Buy Nothing or other bartering sites. So it has been going on. There's going to be a lot more of that when someone is, a program is now not receiving funding. Private sector will step in, or perhaps connected companies or connected corporations, what have you. Not so much probably the larger corporations, but smaller. So it is happening. And we can, if we drop down way into ourselves and through ourselves into the earth and into what are actually our old roots. Excuse me. This is how we lived for millennia, was, people that lived nearby one another, assisted one another, looked out for one another. Story just the other day, can't remember on what site or platform I saw it, but a farmer had become ill and was unable to tend to his harvest, and all the different farmers in the area brought their equipment and actually harvested his crops, and he was able to continue his farm and attend to his own health. So this is the deeper purpose to all that is going on. Bringing those old ways, but again with new technology. So, and you're going to be called on. You're going to be called forth. The very gifts of you in all kinds of ways, whatever knowledge you have. Maybe you don't have a lot of funds, but you have time that you can tend to the community garden, or maybe sit with someone while the family members are able to go to work, or to maybe take them to an elder or a young one to a doctor's appointment or a dentist appointment that's not needing a lot of information, but where a parent or an older child may be needed to get that information. And then maybe there are experts. I know lots of people who have had a great deal, unfortunately, of contact and exchange with the medical world, and so they know how to maneuver. And whether it's an advocate or just someone who knows how to take notes and able to ask the questions. So it is heading towards eventually. I don't believe it's going to be too far in the future either, because what I'm feeling in this future energy and experiencing in meditations, and I said with practices with other colleagues, it is palpable. So it's not some, it's not hundreds of years off. It's not even in generations off. It is going to happen very, very quickly, just as the apparent destruction is happening very, very quickly. So once everyone kind of stops reeling from the shock of what's going on, then action is needed. Action will be presenting itself, and where everyone is feeling and participating in this joint effort. And that really is the not only the key of a democracy, but in a continuation of our species on the planet in conjunction with and in complete interconnectedness and interrelatedness of the earth and her systems and nature and how things cycle and move. And we've actually distanced ourselves from that deep interdependence and knowing, being aware of. We're talking about the equinox. People for millennia were not only aware of, but their bodies were in tune with how the earth was changing, how the sky was moving, the different temperature adjustments. They didn't have internet to tell them this is the equinox. So we were in that deep relationship with earth. And we've distanced ourselves from that, but in the process, we've also distanced ourselves from our own bodies and our own energy fields. And again, that is a higher purpose, if you will, of what we're experiencing right now, this deconstructing, dismantling, destruction, so that simultaneously creation and construction can take place. This is why I've actually moved I've offered the next opening date for the Shapeshifting Your World course. And that's really working those who want to work energetically and in deep relationship with the energetics and beings, both physical and non-physical, that are offering to join with us at any given moment for that creation process. And as I was speaking to a client earlier today, the more we transmute the pieces within us that are untrue about us, the more access we have, the more energy we have, both physical energy and energy in and through our energetic fields, to be able to very, very easily take the little pockets and bites of energy that are available to us and remold them into the way we wish our world to be. And that isn't overriding anyone else's will or anyone else's choice, but you have every right to put into this mix your desires, your design, the way you would like your daily life to go, the way you would like the earth and you and the economies to work with one another or to mutually benefit everyone. So your design, just as everyone had their input and have created exactly what we're in right now, so too are you as a soul that significant and that vital to the creation of what will come, to be able to detail, not so much in the physical steps of what will be, but what you desire. And for the most part, I do believe everyone wants to be safe and secure in their homes, and to be able to have clean air, clean water, clean food that you can count on, and many other things that are very, very core to our existence. Then if there's other details, if you're excited about the way new growth in plants and food sources can take place, there are tons of different innovations. Again, just saw an article the other day of scientists being able to create photosynthesis without sunlight. So we have at our fingertips everything that we need, but that does entail our input. into the design, into the choices of what is important and what is significant to us in our world. If it's art, if it's science, if it's activity, if it's education, there's a place for everyone. We all have incredible expertise or knowledge, even if it's not professional training, our natural tendencies, our experience, our hobbies, all will come in and be needed and be called for. And your offering of that is exactly what is to take place. So I'm very excited. I know on a daily basis you all see me posting on Facebook at least, and other platforms about the executive orders or the changes or the dismantling, but I'm only bringing that to the foreground to allow for knowledge. At this point in the game, knowledge and our access to information, whether it's through libraries, whether it's actual scientific fact, whether it's knowing what's going on the other side of the planet because there's someone actually standing there filming and we have direct access to it. It is our knowledge of our world that is going to bring us into the future. And it is going to be absolutely necessary right now. If you pull the camera back, you might actually see the many ways in which knowledge is being curtailed. Knowledge is being stopped from being freely accessible in many different disciplines, in many different areas, in many different ways. But we have this amazing technology. We have phones, cyber attacks, yes, all of that, but we have the ability to communicate with one another. And that may come back down to having a lot of live meetings. Many of you are aware of the different town halls. People are gathering together to protest. People are gathering together to help a particular group. This unity and this coming together and verbally exchanging, physically interacting with one another is again is absolutely part of what we're seeing that appears to be detrimental, destructive, and potentially the end of things. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Many of you may have either been with me through the pandemic or have gotten on to the YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, A Healer's Universe. There's probably 120, 140 different videos that I did on these Fridays, every Friday, for several years. And oftentimes there would be something horrible happening in our world, whether it was a natural disaster, whether it was, you know, animal treatment, over and over and over again. So many different things that were coming to the fore during the pandemic. And in the meditations, we used those detrimental or negative occurrences to be able to turn that around. And oh, this can turn into people being more aware of animal treatment, to the extent that right now there is no restaurant in the country that up until now has been using caged chickens anymore, or caged eggs. So it greatly decreased. It was affected by us making choices on a daily basis. Right now, again, the bird flu. There's a lot of different reasons for it, but thousands upon thousands of chickens being in one huge warehouse-like barn, and, you know, standing and walking in their own feces and eating on those floors. This cannot be good for the spread of disease by any means. So this must change, and we are the ones that change it. We were looking to others, to the government, to leaders, to religious leaders, to corporate entities. Not going to happen, folks. Absolutely not. There are no saviors. We had people like Gandhi, Martin Luther King, other leaders to show the way or to lead the way. Now this is the great maturing of the human species. It is us. We are the saviors. We are the ones. We get to participate and choose. Yes, responsibility comes along with that. But freedom is responsibility. They cannot go without one another. Period. Whether it's in your personal life or whether on a larger scale. So just as during the pandemic when I sounded a little crazy by saying, "Yay, this horrible thing is happening," I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to keep pointing it out and try to be even more specific from here on out. Is, yay, this horrible thing is happening, and here's what can come of it. And how do you see it changing in the future? How do you want that to be instead? And I really want you to, feel free to bring input to whether it's these talks or, post on some of my posts, or better still, I started a Facebook page in 2016 after that election, and it is entitled "We the People, I Have a Dream." And it was started because I really wanted people to cite their dream of how they want the future to be. And I'm gonna, really call forth everyone to cite your dream, name your dream. Again, this can be in relation to even something very small, much less, the larger picture. But I will keep mentioning it on my page and on the Healers Universe page. But it is "We the People hyphen I Have a Dream." And you can post there something you found out that you think people need to know about, whether it's a question of mobilizing or whether it's some drastic action that's been taken. You're welcome to post that as well. But I would invite you to use also a same amount of energy to write what you think a solution could be, or not even a solution, but how you would like that to exist in an evolved state. Much like I gave the example of the chickens, that we come to a day and to a time when no longer are chickens or cows or pigs being treated in inhumane ways and slaughtered in inhumane ways. It's not necessary. It's just absolutely not necessary. So that's just one example. We have tons of them going on every day. When I walk around the neighborhood, there's a house not far from me that has the cutest little box, and it's a share library. So if you're concerned in your area that library books are being pulled from shelves that should not be, then create a sharing library, maybe between other parents. Maybe it's at your workplace. Maybe it is like this lovely neighbor of mine creating a little library house where the books can go, and that continued knowledge is passed, and people don't forget their history. They don't forget what happened. Recently, I'm sure some of you saw that there was, and there have been in many other governmental departments, the attempt to erase and eliminate all of the different military advances and heroic steps and participation of African Americans, people of color, Native Americans. And that was being wiped clean. And with a lot of protest and outcry, it is now back on today. So we do have the power. At the moment, it may feel like there's a tsunami coming at us. But when we, get our bearings a little bit, each of us individually then take actions. I'm going to be posting more and more of different groups, different ways that we can each take action. Even if you're not a groupie, there's different things that each of us in our individual lives can do. So I want to bring that forward because this is, we're still in the energy of the equinox. It runs for 48 hours or more. And the equinox is known for equal light and day, dark and light, or night and day, dark and light. But that actually only occurs at the equator. But it is very, very symbolic of both the dismantling or destruction and the creation that occurs at the same time. And I really invite you, every time you see something that may upset you, and please do not turn away from that which upsets you. It's very difficult to look, it's very difficult to see, it's very difficult to feel for sure what is happening, whether it's to a direct consequence to yourself or whether it's to neighbors or people on the other side of the world. It's always been difficult. But the more you are able to work with yourself and feel into how that actually triggers or pokes into something very personal in your way, then it can be transformed individually, and then you create a new way. This is what we'll be doing in the Shapeshifting Your World course coming up. And that's why there's 3 20-minute mini sessions available that one can sign up for. And we work individually in whatever way, whether it's transformation or a reading or some energy work, you can call it. And then all of that goes into the pot, into this container, this crucible, and we then drop in energetically and with all of the helpers that are available at that given time, and are recreating the way we want it to be. And you do have that power. You absolutely do. I do. We all do. So one of the really important things is to access once again our roots, as I mentioned, our ancient roots, how we used to do things and in community, as a community, in community, with neighbors, banding together in all different ways for helping, for protecting, etc. So we're going to be calling on, and in the energetics tonight, really pulling in and tapping into those deep, deep, deep roots through deep roots of trees. Even those trees that are no longer here, their roots still are deep in the ground, some more so than others, and energetically they're still there. And as well, we're going to call in and access, if you want to call it, future energetics, creation energetics, your desires, your wishes. Please put that in here. You can type it in the comments, or better still, just speak it out loud. It's really important to put things into words and to feel the words that you're saying. And we also have, interestingly, both vulture, turkey vulture, has been very present this week, and most often thought of as, again, destructive, dangerous, dark, but on the contrary, they are magnificent animals that sacrifice a great deal. They actually eat a lot of the toxins and deadly bacteria that would otherwise go into our systems, or have the potential to go into our systems. So they are at once apparently destructors because they do eat the tissue and organs, etc., of animals. But at the same time, they are protectors and providers for our health. So they're a very, very strong helper this week. Um, the element of wind. Many of you saw the tornadoes. Many of you have been experiencing the strong, strong winds. Certainly here on the East Coast, we've been feeling them. And as again, they can be very deadly. They have been very deadly in those tornadoes, but at the same time, this is cleansing. It's pushing all of the pollution and stirring things up, and the friction that happens with the wind actually cleans the air. So these are the winds of change, if you will. So they're very present this week. Also crow, which represents law, and in many different Native American disciplines, and indigenous around the world. Actually, there's many different cultures that see the crow as a representative of law. And what's been coming through is this new way of law. We're seeing law being disregarded, being overridden, being dismissed and derided. And, you know, as humanity has evolved, so too has man's laws. We no longer, for the most part, live by the law of a hand for a hand, an eye for an eye. We have evolved away from that. We are actually moving, and again, if you can feel, if I've been transmitting for several minutes, as a matter of fact, actually quite a long time, but if you can feel the energetics present here, you can feel into this future evolved species where most laws are not even necessary. And I say that with great conviction and experience, not only personally, but as I'm, with working with clients, the more conscious one becomes, the more feeling, more one has access to one's own feelings and are sensitive to that which is around you, people, land, trees, animals. It becomes nearly impossible to cause harm, to take from another, to do something that is dishonest, let's say. It feels so horrific inside that you just don't do it. Just for an example, client that normally, she was given an extra $5, $10 in a transaction. And, many people would just walk away with that. And whoever it fell on, whether it was the store or the cashier, it didn't really matter. Our own selfish wanting, needing, etc., 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 came first. And yet she could not. There was no efforting in this. She immediately turned around and said, "Oh, you gave me extra money." Because it would have felt so horrific to not do it. So she didn't need a law telling her what was right and what was good. We all know this deep inside. What happens as children causes those to get distorted and covered up, those absolutely natural laws within us. So we have crow here, and law, and the new way of law coming forward. And so I'm going to invite you to just sit, lay down. Please feel free to lay down, if you will, and get comfortable and allow. allow is not always an easy thing for us as people who want to do, are told we should do in so many different instances, including in spiritual work. But I invite you to just for a moment be with your body, in your body, as your body. And there really isn't any work or effort in that. There is feeling. You can become aware of the chair underneath your buttocks or your thighs, or if you're laying down, the couch or floor or bed upon which you're lying. To just feel your body against that. And breathe. Breathing is such a priceless gift and means by which you can unify, connect, commune with not only your own body, but your own being. So just breathe and allow yourself to experience the breath moving through your body. And I am going to call in and call upon the ancients, who are a council of intergalactic beings that I've been working with for over 2.5 decades, that are actually very involved and hands-on, so to speak, in this evolutionary process on this planet, particularly in regard to humans. We already have the new way of law here. As well present this week are the ancient alchemists from ancient Egypt, ancient Sumeria, Mesopotamia, ancient Greece, alchemists being those who observed the natural world and the cosmos and explored and experimented with land, nature, the properties thereof. And another helper that has been here this week is dark matter. In our Milky Way and beyond, that science continues to explore and see what kind of role it plays. And several different sources this week are citing dark matter as weakening or evolving, or even annihilating itself. And for many, many years I've been working with dark matter because it does in many ways symbolize and act in what could be a destructive way. So it corresponds to the physical shadow or darkness. And to have this week knowledge brought forward that dark matter may be weakening or annihilating itself or evolving is extremely powerful. much as it seems like it's growing and getting more powerful at the moment, here through the darkness and destruction that we're observing all around the world. But the other polar spectrum point of dark matter is matter itself. So many of you that are energy sensitive can really feel the powerful sensations of the energetics and in this mix here this evening. And if you don't feel it, no worries. It is occurring nevertheless. I'm going to continue to speak, and I'm actually going to read something very beautiful that came across today. But please let the words go. They do not matter. You do not need to consciously hear, think, or process them. I'm only continuing to speak because the energetics can be felt through my voice that are being transmitted through my system from these other sources. And also that you can completely allow yourself to sink deeply into your inner verse, your internal world, and simply experience without noting, without analyzing, simply allowing. For everything that you bring, everything that you've experienced this week, everything that you've observed, that in any way affected you is here in this container as well. And all of the amazing advances in knowledge through science, through actions, through choices, as well as the extremely potent and potentiality filled future energetics that are here in this container, streaming in to our world, our lives. just feel whatever there is to feel in you, around you, through you, from you. With you. And again, not using your brain, not having to compute or understand or analyze. I'm going to read part of an essay entitled The Embodiment of Freedom. I am that I am. These words are not merely affirmations. They are a key to awakening. They unlock the vast, limitless essence that we are. To embrace the fullness of our being is to step into an unfolding journey, a dance of expansion and release. This unfolding, seen through the lens of duality, appears as both a blossoming and an unraveling. Yet in truth, these are one. To unravel is to blossom, and to blossom is to unravel. As we surrender to the journey, we shed old skins and emerge anew. The now is not just a moment in time. It is the space in which all existence unfolds. It is the only reality, the eternal gateway through which spirit breathes into creation. When we release control, we release limitation. To be in the now is to trust, to allow, and to recognize that all we seek is already within us. In the now, your spirit is fully alive, and from its presence, the infinite is revealed. It is time to embrace the knowing that you are what has been called God. You are not separate from the creative force of the universe. You are an expression of it. The divinity projected outward into sacred figures and the celestial realm is a reflection of your own essence. Though you currently experience yourself in a physical body, the essence of your being is beyond form. You are not bound by time, nor are you confined by the constraints of physicality. You are the creator of time and space, the architect of your own experience. We live in a free will universe, and we truly do have absolute freedom. We freely chose this experience to explore, to expand, to evolve. Individually and collectively. You are here because you are an expert in this universe. And more than likely have a particular expertise in this Earth project. Been exploring, experiencing, accumulating knowledge, talents, gifts, abilities. And are here so purposefully at this point in time to take advantage of the accelerated evolutionary process. To complete a course of study as a soul, or to do something you have never done before in and through a physical form. Perhaps that may be living, speaking freely, fearlessly, perhaps it is being in such union and communion with the physical, with your physical body. Perhaps it is in being a leader, whether it's a quiet leader on an energetic or spiritual basis, or a more verbal and visible leader, reminding people that you encounter of their own individual power and potential. So many possibilities, so many choices. No requirement, no goal, no must or should, but simply an opportunity. We forget breadth and width of us. And lose ourselves in the apparent limitations that we have chosen as our guides, our signposts. Simply another set of parameters. You are here in a time you chose for optimum experience, optimum expansion. All those here now on this planet are great souls, large souls, even and particularly those who are in a destructive form. As in the reading, the unraveling and blossoming occurs simultaneously. Open your field just a little more to drink in some of this energetic of movement in and out of existence simultaneously, destroying, creating, unraveling, blossoming, ending, birthing. Allowing yourself to swim and drink deeply from this container of the earth expansion. experience. And taking all of this, we're going to drop deep into the earth, into the rooted earth. Nothing to do, no effort, no work. Simply allow yourself to feel whatever there is to feel, or nothing. Even if it feels like you're dozing, that's fine. Half in sleep, half out. Good. For now, calling on and coming into us, into this container, the ancient roots. The ancient roots of civilization. The ancient roots of man. The trees have witnessed and accompanied and shared and recorded even where there are deserts now, there once bloomed green and trees and lush forests. Those roots still run deep in through our earth. For millennia we gathered around trees, under trees, with trees. Allow that deep-rooted system to remind yours. And to let you feel deeply planted, deeply rooted. In the process of growth, upward, outward, stretching, stretching, reaching, expanding. Blossoming, blooming. And allowing yourself to experience the steadfastness, the steadiness, the stability, the stalwartness, running through and as you. And as always, should you choose to stay in this energetic and come back to a more physical reality some point, 10, 20 minutes, whatever from now, you will be fully embodied and physicalized. But should you choose at this point in time to move from a less physical state back to a more physical state, please follow your own way, your own rhythm, your own pace. For it is always your way that is ideal, no one else's, your way. And please reach out for the upcoming Shapeshifting Your World group, to be part of and interchange with and potentiate all that a group can do in creation practices. Also, I have discounted the half-day intensive immersives because as things are accelerating, it's a very accelerated process in that half day. Huge progress can be made. And I'm also offering shorter alignment sessions, alchemical alignment sessions, where we're just working energetically, either physically in person or online. Because we're all going through it right now. And this will be posted on YouTube. Again, the channel is A Healer's Universe. And I invite you to really let your intuition decide what recording to listen to at any given time. There are recordings from, I think, 4 or 5 years ago on to through today, and either the image or the title may catch you or draw you, and that's the one to listen to. The reading this evening was from an amazing spiritual teacher by the name of Story Waters. You can find him at limitlessness.com. And this was part of a magnificent essay entitled Embodiment of Freedom. I wish you all the most beautiful of weekends, and I will be, at least for right now, continuing the Friday events or the Friday videos, drop-ins at 1 o'clock. And until next time, in whatever way we encounter one another, please know that it is with the deepest of honor, gratitude, and love for your presence on the planet. Be well.